Hi. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Lynda and Nikki, for joining the live stream today. Lynda, you're always with me. You're my co-conspirator in all things Bhava. So yes, this is a Lynda and Ingrid run little sort of pop-up show for Bhava. And today we have our beautiful Nikki, Nicole H, on with us all the way in the Pacific Northwest. Thank you, beautiful. All right, really quickly, if you don't know who we are the Bhava Spiritual Mission. Hi, I'm Ingrid. I founded the mission in 2017. Both Lynda and Nikki have been with us since damn near the beginning. Definitely Nikki. Nikki was one of the very first to move on through, and Lynda was hot on her tails. So we are a digital church, and we are here our mission is to live in partnership with Spirit. It is to help do our part in moving the collective from fear to love, especially in these crazy times, which just keep getting crazier. So we are grounding in with Divine Spirit in one of the ways that we do that. Two ways that we do that. One is through little events like this, going live, sharing our experience, taking questions, doing readings, that kind of a thing, to reach as far and wide as we can. And the other way we do that is through our classes and our trainings. And we have a 30-day intensive coming up that Lynda and I are going to co-teach. It's in 1 week from today is when we start. And it is 30 days of psychic development. So you get to experience the Bhava classroom. We have a longer certification program that we run. And this is a piece of it that is super focused on psychic development, intuition development, and energy clearing, healing, that kind of a thing. And it starts April 16th. And you know what? It's $17. Normally we charge $99 for this, but it's $17. Why? Because we want as many people to come in as possible, because we know how life-changing it is to learn this stuff. We know everybody is psychic, and if it's something that you're drawn to, you're meant to express it and experience it. And we're here to help you tap into your unique abilities and then help you trust it. When you trust your intuition, it changes your life, right, ladies?
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about that. Particularly, we want to talk about the experience of mediumship today. We spent a lot of time on mediumship in our certification class because it's such a powerful healing modality. So we get to expand on that conversation today. So if you want to sign up for that, do so now. The link is in the description of the video. We're really excited about it. Nikki's going to be there, right? You signed up. Yeah, she's there. She's been in it. It's like, come learn more. And then me and Lynda are going over the curriculum and having a great time. So it's 4 weeks, 4 audio lessons, daily micro lessons, a WhatsApp community, and 2 live Zoom calls. So you can actually get practice in, because that's a really important part of developing your psychic abilities, like kind of critical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're fun.
They're so fun. They go like an hour and a half goes by like that. It is so fun. So without further ado, why don't you two just take a minute and introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started. Lynda, start with you, my love.
I'm Lynda. I live just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And like Ingrid said, I've been with the mission since about 2018. And I started actually doing a mediumship class that Ingrid had offered. And then I was surprised at how I was able to do it. And it was really fun. And then she invited me to join the certification program. So I've been a big part of Bhava since then.
Yeah, you joined the mediumship class and you're like, I can do this. Yeah, you can. Come on, girl. It's so cool. Thank you. Nikki, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, just a little bit south of Mount Rainier. I started with Bhava, like Ingrid said, in the very beginning. I was one of her very first students. Learned so much. It was amazing, eye-opening experience. And then helped teach some classes at a certain point. And then I kind of had to take a step back because life happens. And then I came back and am part of the Bhava Alumni program. So, yeah.
And here we are. Yeah, we have a core alumni group, and we're a team. Awesome. Thank you, beautiful. I'm so glad that you both are here. This is really fun. So before we get started, let's go ahead and get some energy rolling. Let's do some prayer healing. So if you're watching, you're not familiar with what prayer healings are, I don't know if that's the best term for it, but I like it. It's where we send energy and say a prayer to anybody who needs our love and healing. And so we invite you, if you're watching live, or even if you're watching the replay, you can put a name of a loved one, or you can put a heart and a relationship. If you don't want to share the name, that's okay too. I have some really good news since our prayer healing, the last one we did, where I asked for prayers for my brother. And my brother's had some serious health issues that he's been dealing with, and his health issues are resolving. Amazingly. They're getting it right. And it's like life-saving, it's been very serious for him. So, this stuff works. One of the things we do in our alumni group is we do a lot of prayer healing, like for each other. And it is mind blowing how fast, when we focus, how fast the energy manifests and works and creates healing. And we believe in healing by any means necessary. So what that means is we don't have any expectation of how that healing occurs. That could be a spontaneous, miraculous healing. We've seen it. It could be opening up the energy so the right healer or a doctor comes along or a medication comes along, or it doesn't matter. It's the easiest way for that person to energetically receive the healing that they need, and it absolutely works. So, Nikki, do you have anybody you would like to start us off with the prayer healing while we're waiting for comments?
Yeah, I have somebody in my family. I won't say who, just because I haven't talked to him about it, but he's experiencing a lot of physical pain. Throughout the body, hips, knees, and lots of those things. So if we could send him some energetic love and healing and prayers, that would be amazing.
Let's do that. Okay, I'll go ahead and lead us in that. Divine Spirit, thank you for bringing us together. Please hold Nikki's family member in your white hot light of divine love, in your golden light of divine protection. Please surround this beautiful human in grace and ease and relief. Help them find their way to relief of their physical body, their mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body. Help them find the through line to all that connects all of these pieces to help them find relief in their physical body, relieving them from physical pain, healing them by any means necessary. Thank you. Send it over. Ooh, Lynda, do you have anybody who you'd like to share healing with?
My brother's actually been struggling emotionally, so I would love to send him some support and hopefully to help him, guide him through this difficult time he's having.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and feel into Lynda's brother. Surround Lynda's brother in white hot light, in divine healing light and glow. Help him to be fully present with himself, fully present in the moment, to let his mind sink deeply into his body, into the now, to accept fully where he is, what is happening in his life, to accept it so that he can transcend it, and to be able to see the path ahead, the path forward, to take the steps he needs to take to move into a happier, more clear state of mind. Bring community, bring love, bring connection that helps pull him into a higher frequency, one of joy, one of satisfaction, one of gratitude, and one of appreciation. Thank you. Okay, we have beautiful Selena says, please send some prayers to my friend Lisa and her grandmother who has just been put in hospice. Oh, okay, we are sending so much love to beautiful Lisa and her grandmother who's in hospice. God, please wrap grandmother in white hot light in this beautiful, soft transition period. Let it be easy for her. Let her move back to grace with ease, with flow, not get stuck here, but to let go completely so that she can move into the great infinite, to merge into God consciousness.
I can't hear you, Ingrid. Technical difficulties.
Happens.
It happens to the best of us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good thing I have a backup. Ran out of batteries. It was a good prayer, I promise.
I promise.
That was a pretty powerful one if it knocked out your battery.
Right?
Amazing. Okay. All better? Thank you. All right. All right. Here we are. Ladies, it's a red lipstick day. And you know what that means. So, okay, kind of a perfect jumping off point to talk about mediumship and death and dying and the process. None of us like to lose people we love. I think we've all lost people we love deeply, and it's devastating. And I want to say I don't think mediumship replaces being able to talk to spirit. Doesn't replace the physical body. It just doesn't. And we're physical creatures having a physical experience. So we like physical things to bite and lick and push around. But it's also very cool to be able to connect with the other side. And there's a lot of desire for it and a lot of expectation on it. And so I always say mediumship is fraught. And at the end of the day, I see mediumship as a healing modality and not much else. In my experience, like when I do mediumship for people, it heals something. It closes a wound, right? Yeah. So mediumship is powerful. And if you're watching and you've had any mediumship experiences or you think you have, leave a comment and let us know. We can help you decipher that, right? One of the things about mediumship, well, actually any psychic ability, is it comes through differently for everybody, right? So Lynda and Nikki are both like some kick-ass mediums in Bhava. Now, I believe everybody can do mediumship, but I believe that there are some people who are just mediumship superstars, right? They just are. That's you two, right? So, Lynda, would you share with us a little bit about like your experience in mediumship and what happens when you start to channel spirit? What's it like for you? How does it come about?
In the beginning, it was just more emotions, and eventually it started coming in as images and things like that. So it's and I find that it's different with different spirit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think it depends on where they're coming from. Because I've had very different experiences reading for various people. So it's interesting.
Like, talk a little bit more about that. Like, can you give a couple of examples and why you think that might be, just when you intuit into it?
Maybe it's where they're coming from. Like, I think this is a really good example. I read for another Bhava person, and we ended up in a reading room multiple times over the years. And the first time I read for her, it was a grandmother that came through. And really just got now she had only just passed within a year or something like that. I only just got emotions and things like that. And then the next time I read for her and her grandmother came through, it was an entirely different conversation. I found that she was cooking in the kitchen. She was showing me she was making food, because that's what she did when everybody came over to the house. She was cooking.
Yeah.
And it was her way of showing her love to the family and that kind of thing. It was a very different conversation. So I'm assuming spirits go through different phases in their transition. But it was also interesting to see the starkness of the two different readings of the same person.
It sounds like she came through stronger the second time after more time has passed.
Yeah.
So I have found that if you're trying to connect with a spirit that has recently passed, it's hit and miss. It's kind of like in and out. And the way that it was explained to me in my channeling and mediumship over the years is when we die, we go through an integration process, and we are completely preoccupied while we're going through that integration process. And it's like down to the second integrating your entire life. And we're still kind of on a human timeline, but sort of not really. It's like, it's very strange, And so basically what I get is like sort of this blank space and like not available, right? A do not disturb sign is kind of what I get to. Yeah. So that's really interesting. Yeah. So time needs to go by for sure. And that's something that like in mediumship, have you found this, Nikki, where like when somebody's in a lot of grief and kind of like needing that, like it's really new and they're needing that connection, it often doesn't come through.
Yeah, I've definitely had that happen. And then the person that I'm reading for feels a bit disappointed because they had that set in their mind, but it's like, that's not my job. My job is to literally step out of the way and let whomever, Lordy, I've had a whole room full of ancestors before come in a couple of times, and that was a lot, but, and then they'll, come in. But yeah, it just depends. I have had, recent ones that have come through, for people that I'm reading for. But yeah, it depends really, like, on what, who really wants it. And then I think there's like a desire too, like in that grief, there is a desire. And like I've had somebody I've read for where her husband came through the first time I did a reading for her. He was in my room. He was in my office, which is where I do my readings. I could feel him, see him, not feel him, but hear him, see him, and feel him in that energetic way. And he was taking a step back. He wanted her friend who had just passed to talk to her and to give her that healing, give her those messages, things that she needed to hear and needed to feel. And that helped her. And then she booked another reading with me shortly after. And she was like, she didn't tell me this until the end, but she's like, the whole last night I was crying and I was asking, can you please come through? Like her husband's name, can you please come through tomorrow during this reading? And heck, there he was. It was the same energy, but instead of taking a step back, he was like, okay, I'm going to come forward. You really, really asked. You really wanted this. And then the whole time he was just a chatty Cathy. Like, but it was really good though. It was, and she was crying at the end and it was like tears of healing. She had texted me and she's like, I'm now in group like therapy for, healing and for all of that with grief counseling. And I was like, good for you. Like, because I'm not a therapist. At the end of the day, that's not what we do. Like we're stepping out of the way and then letting the spirit flow through and delivering messages in a clear, concise way that, you hope resonates with them. And so, my take on.
Yeah, that's such a great example of how it's healing. Like it closes a hole. So she was able to stop, kind of pulling at that. And then with that connection, she got it. And then she was able to take another step in her healing journey, in her grief journey. Yeah.
It's powerful stuff.
It is powerful stuff. And if you really like do it right, if you really fully get out of the way, this, the spirit that's coming through is doing the work for you. They're doing the healing for you. It's our job to just get out of the way.
Absolutely.
What do you think, what was it like, when you started first learning mediumship, right? What were the challenge, what do you think was the biggest challenge you faced?
So my biggest challenge, and this is where Bhava really helped me and you helped me as a mentor. That's how I describe you to people. Whenever I talk about the Bhava program, I'm like, this is like my mentor. This whole program was a huge mentorship in helping me because I had horrible experiences with it as a child.
Yeah.
And then even as a young adult, and even as a teenager. And so my regard with, that spirit realm world was so negative. Like my experience was so negative. So for me, my work was trying to peel back that fear and not associate fear with mediumship. And I had a struggle with that. And it took me a while to dig deep, remove those stories and expand and also recognize that, wait, no, you're actually helping somebody. And then I learned how to put protections in place. And so I have a whole opening that I do prior to jumping on a call or a Zoom with a client or somebody who's new that wants a reading. And it takes you about 30 to 45 minutes. So
that's a real thing.
It does. Yeah. To get grounded, get centered, get your protections, clear your space, then do some more protections. Make sure you're calling on the highest and greatest good for the person you're reading for yourself. And I do a lot of ancestor work. So I'll leave offerings for their ancestors and my ancestors. And then whatever deity that comes through wants to help me as well.
You bring up such a good point in the mediumship process, especially when you're doing it like as a business, when you're meeting clients. First of all, the energy exchange is so important because of the energetic output that we do with mediumship. I mean, unless you've done it, like, you don't know, it's like you have to ground yourself in, you have to put up your protections. And then afterwards you have to clear and reground. I don't really think that humans are physically designed to channel in the way that we do all the time. And so we need that grounding. We need the energy of the earth, which is why I'm such a fanatic about grounding in Bhava and everything we do. Because I've experienced that ungrounding. And when I opened up to my psychic and spiritual gifts, I lost my tethering to the earth for like 2 years. I was out there, man, and it was so unnecessary. And it really interrupted my life in a big way and took me longer to get on path and on purpose. And that's what happens when you're channeling. And you've ever met people who are really open, and they're not grounded, like, it's hard to be useful with it when you're not grounded, right? And it can be detrimental to your physical body. I mean, it can cause health challenges, it can, so you got to be really conscious about clearing. But kind of going back to what you were saying about what you're doing with the session, when you're preparing for 30 to 45 minutes, that's part of it. That's part of the reading. Mm-hmm. Like if we didn't do that, the reading wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If we didn't clear, the reading wouldn't be there. Yeah. What was your challenge, Lynda, coming in and learning mediumship?
I think my ego, trying to get out of the way, because I wanted so badly for so much information to come through to be able to share with who I was reading for, that I really had to be disciplined about what am I going to allow, what am I going to say, and is it true? And so there was a lot of questioning in the very, very beginning about how, like, is this really what they're saying? Is this really what they're showing me? So it's, that was, I think, the most difficult part. It's still a challenge, but I have a better sense of, because I've got a sort of a library of things that I know are, if something comes in a certain way, or they show me something, then I know what that means now. So I've got a little bit more of a library. So if something comes in, then I have an idea. Okay, well, this is what they mean.
Yeah, and that comes over time, like building your language of spirit. Yeah.
And I've learned just to say what I see, because that's not always necessarily. It doesn't make sense to me, but it typically will make sense to the person on the other end, right? So so it's important to remember that, to just, okay, well, this doesn't make sense to me, but here you go. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm feeling. And, and if they validate it, then that's even better, right? So
yeah, that's why we like to teach it evidence first and then message. Evidence and then message, because first of all, you get the validation, which is nice. Like, and I agree with you. It's like you got to go in knowing sometimes you're not going to get the validation, and you just got to trust yourself and bring it through. And I'm going to give a really amazing example of why that's important in a minute. But when you give the evidence, then the person sitting in front of you is like, yes, that makes sense. Yes, I confirm that. Yes, that's what he looked like. Yes, and so that helps me as the medium know, okay, good, I'm connecting with the right person. She knows who this is, so she knows who the message is coming from. And then when they have enough evidence, they have trust in the message, and they can actually receive the message. Whereas if you don't have that evidence, and you're just like, I got your dad here, and and they're like, do you though? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And even if they're like into it in the minute, when they walk away, they might start to question it. If they're like, but was it? Like, they didn't give me any proof, right? So I think that's really important. Here's my favorite example of evidence. You're not necessarily going to get evidence. Sometimes people are going to be like, I don't know. And then you'll never get it when it comes clear as to what that message was. Here's my favorite example. My father passed away when I was a kid. Shortly after he passed away, about 6 months after he passed away, my mother went to see a medium. And I didn't know she went to see a medium until 20 years later. And I was sitting at her in the yard at her place, and it was around my birthday. And I was just chatting with my mom. It was shortly after my spiritual gifts came online. So I was trying to like figure them out, right? And my mom said, I went to see a medium shortly after your dad died. I said, did you really? Tell me all about it. Because I was trying to understand my own mediumship. I was having these experiences, but I wasn't very grounded with it, right? And she goes, Yeah, I have the notes. Hang on, let me go get them. So it's a miracle she had notes 20 years later. I mean, she knew where they were. Like, what? That is like wild. So she sets these like pages like from the yellow legal pads, a bunch of yellow legal pad pages. And I'm going through and I'm looking at them, and there's messages coming through this medium to my mother for me at that time in my life and wishing me a happy birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was all like helpful from my father, helping me understand my gifts and helping me understand what I needed to do. It was in that medium. My mom didn't even remember her name. She never got validation for that. But
Wow.
that was like life path altering for me. It was deeply confirming for me and deeply healing as well. So this is important work, even when we're saying it and we're like, nobody knows. That can be why. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's always fun when they come back and be like, so like, I didn't know what it meant, but right. Yeah. Mediumship. What do you feel like, what's your favorite story? Mediumship story? The one that sort of sticks out for you.
Well, I feel like I have a couple, to be honest. I had, this was a recent one I did not that long ago. And so my family is in law enforcement. They have been, there's a lot of them in there. And one of my symbols for somebody who was in the military or first responder is they'll show me a particular uniform. So I was asking, it was this woman's grandfather, and I'm like, okay, he's showing me a uniform, and she's like, yeah, I don't know if he was in the military, but I know he was a firefighter. And I'm like, that makes sense, because he just started flipping me shit. Because there's like this, rivalry between firefighters and police officers. Like, it's a joke. And like, they both think their professions are ridiculous. So they just joke with each other all the time. So I was like, that explains why he was kind of flipping me a little bit of shit. And so she starts laughing. The person I'm reading for, she's like, that would be him. And I'm like, but he's not doing it in a bad way. Like, it was playful, and he was being funny. And he was like, oh no, that's not a real job. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know. Like, all right. Like, I've got the right person here. But he was really, really funny. And I think, like, I know I'd mentioned it before, but like, actually one of my favorite ones that is so funny is, I had this woman I was reading for, and it was the second time it's ever happened, and her entire like Irish ancestral line is in my office.
They're like out the door.
Yeah, they were like, I'm reading for her, so I'm delivering messages, but then I've got other relatives that are talking over the person that is channeling through, and they're like, hey, come have a glass of wine with us. And I'm like, I can't right now. I'm telling them, I'm like, can't right now. I'm reading. They're like, no, come on. Like, I know you're Irish too. Come enjoy. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm all right. And so then I'm kind of having this conversation, but channeling at the same time. And then at one point I have to stop and like tell them, like, it's okay, not right now, but thank you. And I just start laughing. And the person I'm reading for, she's like, what's so funny? And I'm like, you won't really believe me if I tell you, but I got to tell you. So I just explained the whole experience that was going on while I'm channeling with her. And she just starts laughing. And so she's like, can we keep going? Because she only booked a half an hour with me. And I was like, yep, sure. She's like, I'll PayPal you afterwards for the extra half hour. And I was like, sounds good. So then I get done with the reading. I see my PayPal, and I'm like, well, she paid me too much. And then I looked at her note, and she's like, here's the extra for the half hour, and here's $20 to get yourself a bottle of wine to go drink with my ancestors.
That's amazing. I love it.
It's like, that is so funny. I was like, okay, thank you. Of course, I had to like cut cords, and clear out, but they were
because that's a lot of energy.
They were hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you see spirits like physically in your room?
I can, yeah. It just depends. So when I first sit down, I get after my opening, and I'm with the person, and we'll either do a grounding meditation or I'll ground before. Again, I'll get a number, and that's how many spirits that I have in the room. And then I can kind of look over to my left, which is like where I receive. And then I'm like, oh, yep, I've got this tall individual, and they'll show me what they look like and how they act or what their mannerisms are. Usually I get a matriarch that's an ancestor that likes to come through to check me out and be like, oh, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. We're good. Don't worry. Like, it's okay. And then sometimes I'll get like the number 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3 to 4. And I'm like, okay, that's an indecisive spirit that can't figure out if they want to stay or not. And so I'll always explain that to the person I'm reading for. And I'm like, this is how many you have in the room with me, and this is what's going on. And then I just go from there. And then they kind of will take turns stepping forward on who wants to speak. And then, or unless you have the case of the giant Irish family that just, implodes and talks over one another. So
typical.
That's great. And Lynda, you said earlier you get feelings, so you feel emotions and feelings in your body, and then when you see them, do you see them in your mind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've had a similar experience to Nikki. I did a reading for a friend, and I had my reading room that I was sitting in, and I have a door on my reading room, and one of my guides stands at the door and only allows one in at a time.
Good.
And I remember sitting down and looking out the door, and there's like, I can't see the end of the line. And I'm like, I'm telling you now, we're not going to be able to talk to everybody, because there's at least 50 of them out there. And she was like, God. Really? I'm like, yeah. I said, we'll get through the ones that come up first, and we'll do them one at a time, and we'll see how far we get. And I think we got to like 3 or 4, and then they all sort of disappeared. They're like, okay, well, not talking to us, so we'll see you later. And
sometimes I get a lot of ancestor energy coming in as just like a show of support and solidarity, and not necessarily every single one needs to come up and talk, Yeah. I get a lot of feelings and sensations, and I usually see them in my mind, but occasionally I'll have those experiences like Nikki does, where it's like, whoa. And I've actually done a reading and I've gotten interrupted by spirits that weren't there for that person. Like, that can happen.
In there, I had my birth mother come through. I was doing a reading for someone, and my birth mother came through, and she was like in my face.
Oh, rude.
I got to talk to you. And I'm like, I'm actually reading for somebody else. I have a couch in my reading room. Go sit down, and when I'm done, we'll have a conversation.
Wow.
And she wouldn't leave me alone. She eventually left and sat down, but then she disappeared before I had a chance to actually talk to her. So it was very strange.
Sometimes they can be unruly. I think it's really important that people know, like you just demonstrated this, like they're not in charge of us. We're in charge of them. I had an experience early in my mediumship saga when I was, I was like, I didn't have anybody teach me. My gifts came online at from a spiritual awakening event. It was very intense and just completely blew me off kilter. So I had a good few years there where I was like, I don't know what's going on, and just trying like experimenting, exploring. And I had reconnected with a childhood friend at that time whose mother had passed away when she was a teenager, when we were teenagers. And, I didn't really know where this person stood in terms of what I was doing with mediumship and psychic and spirituality. And I didn't have good boundaries with spirits or people at that point in my life. It was just at the time. And her mom came to me so clearly. And for like 3 days, she would not leave me alone. She said, tell her I'm here. Tell her I'm here. That was her only message. Loud. Tell her I'm here. And I was like, well, I mean, okay, should I? And then I was spending time with this woman, and we were talking about something completely different. And her mother got so loud, like, tell her I'm here in my ear. And I just looked at my friend and I said, your mom's here, and she wants me to tell you that she's here. And the look on my friend's face, I knew I'd made a horrible mistake, because you can't dive bomb people like that. You need to be like, that's just unethical. And I didn't know it at the time. And I learned hard that was unethical at that time. And she just looked at me, didn't say a fucking thing, and turned around and walked away. And I was like, oh. And then mom turned around and walked away. Just got what she wanted, right? It turned out, I still believe that I should have handled that differently. Like I needed to ask permission to be gentle about that and to tell mom, no, I'm the boss, right? Because I let her run me over. It turns out later on, we had a conversation quite a while later, and she said, it's interesting you said that to me because shortly after my mom died, I had a dream, and in my dream, she exploded into billions of pieces. And so I thought she was gone, right? I thought she didn't exist anymore.
That must have been devastating for her.
Yeah. And so she just was under the belief that her mother was no more. And so that's why her mom came at the first opportunity when you need to tell her this. Just like, she's here. So it's like, and I didn't know what that message meant. I'm like, is that it? Okay. Like, but for my friend, that had a whole lot of meaning, that really simple message. So you just don't know when you're in partnership with spirit, whether through mediumship or teaching or psychic or just being a good fucking friend. It's those little things that just seem like we don't understand that are so impactful and healing for the people we're connecting with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But for the record, don't do what I did. Don't lob.
That's happened to me a few times where somebody's come in where I'm out in a public place and it's like, do you want to know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna dump this on you, but I have a message. Do you want it?
Yeah. I did that on an airplane.
Yeah. I was in Home Depot.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I was like, who is this person? And she's like, I'll be right back. Hold on. And then she came back and she's like, that's like my great grandmother. And I'm like, oh, she just wants you to know she's with you. She's like, okay. And then like we started talking and I ended up doing a reading for her and then a reading for her mom. And like, it was this whole thing, but I was just, I shouldn't have, but I did. It just came out. It was not.
Nice. Well, and sometimes that works out, with open-minded people, but you can I feel like my friend was really hurt and upset. Like, I feel like it really was damaging. I think she recovered, but that I would do that differently next time. Yeah. The other thing is sometimes spirits will come through and I'm like, I am not going to tell that person you're here, but if the opportunity arises and I get some kind of invitation, I will make it known. And my favorite example of that, or the one that pops into my head, because I'll do that a lot. Sometimes the opportunity won't arise and it's like, I'm not your girl, I'm not your medium, because I'm so conscious about permission and not being a dick with my gifts. But I was at, it was actually somebody who I was seeing, his stepfather passed away very suddenly. And I went to the celebration of life, the funeral with him. And we went to a mountaintop somewhere to spread his ashes, and his wife was there and his family was there. And I was newly dating this person, so I really did not know his family. And sometimes, if you, especially in grief, if somebody's like not open to that or they don't believe in that, like that's not, But I'm sitting there just kind of looking over the cliff, and this is one of those like right next to me moments. He stands next to me, goes, "Hello," I said, "Hi," and he said, "I want my wife to know that I'm here and I love her," or something like that. It's kind of one of those messages, And I was like, "Okay, here's the deal, dude. I don't know this lady, and I'm not going to just love that. But if the opportunity arises, I'll let her know." And he said, "Okay, I'm fine with that. Thank you." And then I turned around and there were all these dragonflies everywhere. And if you don't know, dragonflies are a symbol for our loved ones being nearby, or at least that's how I took it. And his wife came and stood next to me and just said something kind of small talk. And I said, "All those dragonflies are there. They say that means your loved one's near." And you know what she did? She turned, she goes, "Everybody look at the dragonflies. He's here. Like, done. I didn't need to take the credit for that or be the messenger. I could just do it that way. Oh, we have a cool question here from Ward. Hey, Ward, thanks for jumping on. Do you feel like mediumship was something you were born with, or did you teach it to yourself in time? That is such a great question. And I'm going to let Lynda and Nikki answer this first. Lynda, what do you think?
I think it's a combination. because I think I've always been able to do mediumship, but I didn't know where to start. So taking the class with Ingrid and having the opportunity to practice and things like that really helped me be a lot more secure in my abilities. I mean, Ingrid talked about how she basically, went through the whole process and sort of was sort of trial and error for her. Um, that didn't make me feel comfortable to do that. So
You're
having a
like, "Nope."
structure to do it was, well, some people are, are more open to those types of things, and some people aren't. So for me, it was better to have the structure.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I'm in a place in life where I'm learning that like it's okay to let somebody else give you a framework for things you don't know how to do. Like it really is. That's awesome. What do you think, Nikki?
I will agree with Lynda about being a combination. I know for me, though, I started seeing spirit at the age of 3 and can remember the experiences that I had with it. I know my grandmother had gifts. She could see, like physically see spirits, like especially of ancestors or loved ones that had passed away in the family. So I don't know if maybe there's a bit of a hereditary thing that was there. I don't know. But it's just, yeah, I think it was one of those things that I think I was born with it, had to go through the process of accepting it and then really embrace it and help, learn how to do it. Like, because before I didn't, I was floundering and just getting bombarded, and
Yeah.
it wasn't fun at all. It was horrible experiences. But I think, yeah, I think you can, tap into that sense if you'd like to and teach yourself how to do it.
Yeah. And you something that you said a couple of times, Nikki, is like I think it's really important people to know that if you're a person who's just super open, and some people are like you, and you get bombarded and you can't control it, the way to control it is to develop it. If you try to shut it down, it doesn't work. You might be able to shut out the spirits, but it results in some gnarly consequences, like mental health consequences, like anxiety and some physical stuff. So the way is you develop it so you can work with it and you can turn the faucet up and down. Yeah.
Great.
So I would agree, Ward, it's like I think everybody pretty much has the ability to do mediumship. I really believe that we can do that. It's innately part of being human. That being said, some people are just mediumship superstars. Some people are just naturally more inclined and in tune to it than other people. And we see that in our Bhava community, in our training program. And it is some people have gifts that are come easier for them, and some people have gifts where they need to like work at it. For some people, mediumship is just comes so easily. My first mediumship experience, I didn't know it was my first mediumship experience till decades later, when I started actually playing with mediumship and recognizing what it was. My first that I can remember really clearly, I was 7 years old, and it's like stopped me in my tracks. And I didn't have too much of the bombardment that Nikki talks about when I was a kid. I didn't really have that. It was very but I would close my eyes and see faces every night. And I hear voices in my head. I've always heard voices in my head, especially when I'm like concentrating on something and like my mind is focused. All of a sudden it gets really loud. And I'm like, God, it's always there, isn't it? I'm just not dialed into it. Yeah.
Well, and based on that, Ingrid, I think that a lot of us put those things aside.
Yeah.
And just and try to explain it away because we don't want to come across as crazy.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I think that so I think that we, like you said, you close your eyes when you saw faces. I did too. I just put that together.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, that used to happen to me, and it scared the crap out of me because they'd be like right in my face, and
totally. Yes.
It just occurred to me
outside your head to say your name.
Whoa. Yeah, I just put that together. So obviously, you suppress it, you push it aside because you don't want to seem like you're crazy because it's not acceptable behavior.
You're not supposed to hear voices and see things. Yeah. Ward says that, oh, you're training your mediumship. Congratulations. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
It's like channeling through drawing, and then I see it in there. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. So
That is
Tyler
cool.
Henry does drawing to focus his mind. I think, I don't know if he looks at it, but yes. So that's something specific, and I can't remember what it is, but that's a specific type of mediumship, Ward, or channeling, where you draw. Spirit comes through drawing, and you might want to try automatic writing too. That might be really good for you as well. So yeah. Oh, the next day you forget. This is good. Like the next day I forget the way of doing it, and then I find it back after a few days. That's classic channeling. When you're channeling, you don't remember it. When you're fully in channel, you don't remember what you channel because it's not yours. It's coming through you. In fact, if you remember too many details of a reading or a channeling session, that's a clue that you were in the mix kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's good. Keep practicing, keep playing, and let us know if we can help. We love this stuff. Yeah. Mediumship is powerful, and it's also fraught. And I know for me, like with the frequency of mediumship, I remember when I first started doing this, like I was pretty ego invested in mediumship. I was like, yeah, I just want to be a medium. That's all I want. I want to talk to dead people. And I want people to know I talk to dead people, right? I wanted that validation. I also wanted to help people. I was also very spiritual, but I had a lot of ego in the mix, right? I was like, that's all I want to do is be a medium. As I have progressed on my journey and done more spiritual work and sort of gotten the message that it's not about me, it's about spirit and the people who come in. I have found that like my gifts, while I do mediumship and I love mediumship, it's not the primary gift for me. For me, the gift is teaching more than anything. But through that, mediumship can come through as well. I'm always really grateful when it does. But all my students know when there's a spirit nearby because I start yawning. I get tired. I'm like, because of such a radical frequency shift. And I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't really need to, but I know that like when I start yawning, or like if I'm driving, I drive a lot, right? Because I travel. If I drive through a certain area and I start yawning, I know there's spirits around. And there's like, and I'll find out later, like, oh yeah, the battle of such and such happened there. I was like, of course it did. Good Lord.
When we went to last year, we were in Honolulu, and it was the eclipse. And so I called down to the front desk where we were staying and said, okay, well, we want the best place to see the eclipse. And there's like, oh, Pearl City. Well, that's where Pearl Harbor is. And I was like, I looked at Ingrid and I was like, okay, 2 mediums going to Pearl Harbor. That sounds like a really bad sitcom.
It was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
We'd be driving through the city and you'd hit pockets of like, oh, you get the energy and like that's where a bomb fell. You just knew that's what happened, right?
Like just the body aches, Ingrid was yawning constantly, like, and I was driving. So oh my goodness. I was getting headaches. Oh my goodness. And then we couldn't find anywhere to park where we could actually just visually look at the eclipse, except the museum at Pearl Harbor.
Okay, we had to get out of there though.
It's like, okay, let's look at it and then get out.
We didn't even stay for the whole thing because we're like, we gotta go. It was so much.
I've been there on the Arizona. It's somber. It's intense. It was so intense I couldn't speak.
We were only in the parking lot, so I can't imagine actually going into the museum itself and participate.
And on the like floating memorial that's right above the Arizona, and you can still see the bubbles come up. It's intense. So I can't. Yeah, that's a lot, especially with an eclipse going on.
Oh my goodness!
And it was the full solar eclipse. The full solar eclipse wasn't happening in Honolulu, but in other, there was a full solar eclipse happening in other parts, and it was my birthday. It was my 40th birthday. It was amazing. Quite a lot of energy.
A lot of energy.
So it was a big day.
It was a big day. There was a lot, and we got up at the crack of dawn. I know, like the night before, we're like, do we really want to get up that early to see the eclipse? And then we were like, well, we'll set our alarms and then we'll see. And then we got up and we're like, well, I guess we're going. Come on. It's great. Yeah, that was a wild trip. We'll have to talk more about that at some point. But When Bhava babes get together in person, and one of the things that happens with us in the community is we activate each other. And that activation, you know, it continues out, but when we're together, we really activate each other. Would you say that's true? That's what I've seen over and over again, is we just like light each other up.
I've only met you in person a couple of times before Honolulu, and then going to Honolulu, there was well, essentially 5 of us, but 4 of us, you know, were together for the most part of the trip. So yeah, it was surreal.
Yeah.
To actually be in the physical space of everybody.
I think as we're talking about this, we need to do that again. Bigger. You in, Nikki?
Yeah, I'm in.
All the Bhava babes. Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
That is awesome. Oh my God. Yeah. So any last words like about mediumship before we wrap up? And one of the things is like, let's do a reading or two. If anybody listening would like a reading, leave a comment. We'll be happy to do a psychic reading for you. But yeah, any last words about mediumship?
I don't think so.
I think sometimes it's good to have those boundaries, do your protections, make sure you're safe, make sure you're grounded, because you never know who can come through. I've had some real angry spirits come through that were aggressive when I'm like, before I could contain that. But also there's a sense that I get with mediumship where it's kind of like playfulness, sort of like, that's the best way I can describe it. We're like, take it very seriously. You're giving this message. It's a healing, you know, tool to help people. And just like I said, take it very seriously. But there's sometimes where spirit is like, I'm kind of going to be playful. And like, so sometimes it's okay to really like step out of the way, let it go, and then see what comes through.
Yeah. I mean, playful, it is playful. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And you take it seriously, because it's like the thing to remember with mediumship, especially out of all of the spiritual and psychic gifts and abilities that we have and we explore, mediumship in particular, you can do a lot of fucking damage if you're not careful with mediumship, because people's hearts are broken. Yeah. And you have to hold those hearts gently, so gently, bring so much love into it. And that's, you know, we're really big on ethics in Bhava, because we don't want to damage people. We want to heal people. And we don't need our own shit in the way. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're interested in learning mediumship, Lynda and I, and Nikki's coming too, are running a 30 days of psychic development intensive. We start in 1 week on April 16th. The link to sign up is in the description of the video, 30daypsychic.com. It's $17, and you are going to get so fucking much out of this 4 weeks together. Yeah. Like, we are basically taking an entire psychic development module and giving it to you for 56 cents a day, I think. And we're doing this because like, this is soul work for us. This is holy work for us. And we know how important it is and how life-changing it is when you tap into your psychic abilities and trust your intuition. Like, it is such a game changer how you live your life more authentically, more courageously, more free, total agency, when you're like, oh, that's how it works for me. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can trust that. And you just move out into the world that way. And we need as many people as possible doing that so that we can change the world. Because it needs a little polishing. Okay. So we got 2 babes who would love a reading. Ward would like a reading. Okay, Ward. And then we have Sunshine who would like a reading. So beautiful, Ward. Let's tune in for you. What does our beautiful Ward need to know? Okay, so I'm feeling a lot of energy just drop deeply into my sacral and into my root center. And I feel really strong grounding energy. And then as I feel more grounded, I feel my throat opening up and I feel my heart opening up. You have a lot of wisdom to share, Ward. And I feel a lack of self-confidence there when it comes to sharing that wisdom. It's like a push-pull. Like, you know, you have wisdom to share and then you feel insecure about it. And then you know you have something to share and then you feel insecure about it. That insecurity is a lack of groundedness. So getting into the dirt, like literally just going and sitting in the dirt, no mat, nothing, is what I'm getting. It's like sitting cross-legged in the dirt and letting your root chakra just feed off of that earth energy, what that's going to do is it's going to open your heart, it's going to open your throat, and it's going to help you gain more confidence in what you have to share. It's also going to help you understand more clearly when it is time to share that wisdom. That wisdom is not for everybody. In fact, the wisdom that you bring through is so kind of like unique and specialized, I would say, that most people who hear it aren't going to get it. And that's okay. That's not because of you're sharing something wrong, but it's feeding into an insecurity. So it's about timing and who to share it with. It is not for everybody. For the most part, you get to stay silent and stay in your heart and stay grounded. And when the right person comes to receive that wisdom from you, the throat chakra opens like an opening, and it comes out easily, and it feels good to share it, and it is received beautifully. And people are not receiving what you share in the way and is causing you to feel insecure, zip it, ground in, wait for the right people to come to you. They absolutely will. The more you stay in stillness and silence, the more that those people will be drawn to your energy. They will find you. You're the beacon. Okay. They will find you. When you're putting yourself out there too much and too much initiating and you're going, that's when you run into roadblocks and you run into the wrong people to share with. And that's when you start to feel that insecurity come in. So that feels complete. Let me know if that is helpful. And I'm going to bounce you over to Lynda.
Just to sort of play off of what Ingrid just said, I'm getting that you're overthinking things, which explains sort of what Ingrid was talking about. And I got, don't get caught up in it. Again, grounding in and listening to, sorry, I brain gap there. I also got that, the throat, sharing your gift and it's something that you're meant to do. And, but there's a heaviness there. So again, grounding in and making sure that, you don't get caught up in all of what you should do. That's what I'm getting. You don't get caught up in what I should do. Just listen to your intuition, listen to your gut and just follow what's coming up. Because it's not, and you're not meant to know everything.
Yeah. Grounding.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nikki. Thank you.
I did some automatic writing and I got a little bit of what you each got too. I immediately wrote power center and then expanding. And then it was showing me like in your body, it looks like these sunbeams just like coming out of your power center. And I wrote, the world needs to see your light. Get out of your head a bit. So a little bit like what Ingrid and Lynda touched on. And then I literally saw you physically stepping to the right to get out of the way and to let the universe energy step in like on your left for receiving. Like this just expansion of energy. So when I saw that, then I saw this energy. It was like a massive cleansing of that space, of your receiving space. Like it's just stepping out of the way real quick, feeling that cleansing of like your soul, your energetic space, everything that is going on there. And then I see you stepping back to the left into receiving mode. And it is in that cleared, charged, changed space. And that's what I saw, felt, wrote down. I don't know if that resonates, but
yeah. Okay. Beautiful, Nikki. Thank you. Ward, thank you so much for showing up and allowing us to read for you and bring spirit through for you. Grounding, my beautiful friend. Yes.
Yes.
Important. Yes. I saw you, Lynda. You went, oh,
you got a lot of energy, dude.
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy.
Ward, I'm going to say, like I mentioned briefly earlier in the live, when I had my spiritual awakening, I became completely untethered. And I felt very much the same way. Like I was going crazy. And it is what got me back is to really get into my grounding practice. I want to give you my grounding meditation. I'm going to come back after this live and wait, you know what? Where can I put it? I don't know where to put it because my website changed. So I'm like, stay in the store. Okay. Hang on a second.
Ward, also think about, walking outside in your bare feet on the grass, on the beach, where I don't know where you live. So it's hard to say, but just getting out in nature and sticking your feet in the ground. And, that is so helpful.
All right. Great. Yep. Okay, thank you, Ward. Appreciate it. Sunshine. Sarah Sunshine. Okay, let me kick us off here. Where's our beautiful sunshine need to know? Oh, interesting. Relax, girl. Relax. I'm just getting relaxed, relax, relax. My whole body is just relaxing. Relax into the moment, relax into the now. The more you relax, the more things can change for you. The more tension you hold, the more difficult it is for you to see clearly, to have good perspective, and to see a way through whatever is dogging you, right? Whatever is coming up in life. Deeply, it'd be really good for you. Okay. If you can start with this, find an herbal tea or some kind of herb that is for relaxation. Okay, that will help you physically relax your body. Not a pharmaceutical. Find an herb. Okay, some herb, something that will relax your body deeply. You need that reset, that relaxing reset. You could experiment with plant medicine. Plant medicine is okay, but I would want you to really work with somebody who knew what they were doing if you were going to do plant medicine. But find an herb. I don't know if it's a tea. Use your intuition to find something that's going to help you relax your body deeply, because that's going to give you a full-on reset. It's going to help you access some feelings, some emotions, some energy that's sticky and not moving through. And you can use your somatic renewal practice to access those emotions when you're fully relaxed. Okay. That feels really critical. That's the big message I have for you. Find a way to relax and use some herbal supplements or teas or something to help you with that. Okay, bouncing you over to Lynda.
So I'm getting things are moving in your favor, and you got to step into your power and let go of the fear. I get the sense that you're in your head a lot, and I know that I'm sure this meditation, taking the energy down through your body and into the ground, trying to get it out of your head. I mean, the grounding meditation will help, but that's the exercise that I'm getting, taking it through your chakras and dissipating it into the ground. That's because I feel like you're allowing the overthinking to get in your way. So, try to step away from that. And I'm getting a tightness in my throat, and that usually means you need to speak your truth. So there's something that you're afraid to say, something that you want to say. I'm not sure what that is, but it's okay to get it out.
All right, beautiful. Nikki.
Yeah, the first thing I got, again, did automatic writing. The first thing I got was just like your crown chakra. It was just open, and I got this message like it will open up more. It was just like, whoa, like beaming open. And then this is going to sound funky, but then I wrote down comfy socks, get snuggly, get cozy. Kind of goes back with like the tea and like the take care of yourself situation. And then I got get yourself some agate, like a crystal, that stone. It is amazing. It helps uplift your mood and it helps you stay positive. It's also believed to be a safeguard for you from negative energies, and it'll bring you good fortune in your life as well, making you feel more joyous and content with life. So I got like a strong hit of like, ooh, like she needs some agate in her world. Like, even if you just carry it in your pocket, put it in your purse, leave it next to your nightstand, something there about the energy I got there. Those
gorgeous.
Be helpful.
All right. Thank you. Sunshine, let us know if that resonates with you. Thank you so much, beautiful. Okay, we'll do one more reading. Patricia, my dear, so happy to do a reading for you. And then we got to log off. I got a class to teach. Okay, what does our beautiful Patricia need to know? Show me, show me, show me. Ooh, ripples in my power center. I like that. What's going on there? A lot going on in the root chakra, the power center. Oh, and then there's a tightness in my chest here. It feels like, oh, what's that? Hang on a second, Patricia. Patricia, do me a favor. Can you please consciously open up your aura to me, your energy, and really like consciously give me permission to come in and to read for you? Sometimes we are protective, which is good, and sometimes we don't realize it. So I'm just asking you to open up those protections a little bit for me. Okay, babe. I'm getting a tightness in my chest, and it doesn't feel, and I'm seeing something in the ribs, something with the meniscus. I'm seeing some tightening. I'm getting some physical sensations in the body that might feel alarming or might feel like you don't know what that is. Like you're getting tightness, shortness of breath, something like that. And it feels all up here in the chest and a little bit in the rib cage and in the back. And it just, what is this? Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. I'm getting that it is not, if this is something that you're experiencing, or if you haven't experienced it yet and you will, like it's okay. Stretching is going to really help. There's something about, I want to say meniscus or something in the ribs. Something's tight, right? There's a film that is tightening, but it's okay. Like it's not bad, right? You don't have a health issue. It's just like movement, and you can trust your body to tell you how to move and stretch your upper body and your shoulders and your arms, and then that will loosen things up, and then that will feel better, and then you won't. I am feeling like maybe some fear, tightness, shortness of breath. But I'm a good medical intuitive, and I'm not picking up anything dire. I'm seeing this kind of gray film, right? I don't know what it is, but it's like something's kind of tightening or constricting, and stretching and opening up your chest is going to be really helpful for you. Let's see, what else does our beautiful Patricia need to know? Other than that, I like the feeling I have in the root and in the sacral. And I feel like you feel confident in yourself. And I don't know if this is a newfound confidence, but it feels like you've been getting there. Like you're feeling pretty confident in yourself. And I'm feeling that power center open up, which is the center for confidence open up. And you're feeling really good. You feel like you have a good groove going on. You feel like you're in a place of like peace. You're in a place of contentment, and you're moving forward, and you're confident, and you know what you're doing. You know what the next step is. And there's a little niggle that it's like, should I be doing more? Like it's kind of like it's peaceful now for the first time, and maybe you're not used to experiencing this kind of peace and confidence without some chaos to come in and mix things up. But I just want to say, like, this peace and this confidence and this moving forward and knowing what the next step is perfect. It means you're in alignment. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up with any emotional chaos. Keep moving forward, and what's going to happen is your life will grow and expand in ways that you are meant to be of divine service, right? So it's going to happen organically and naturally and easily. So keep your mind in check, keep your fears in check, keep your relationships in check. Don't let any emotional chaos come in from the relationships, and stay focused on the here and now and the step in front of you. And that's how you're building to where you want to go. Even if you don't know exactly what that looks like, you're on path and you're on track. Okay. And you're doing great. Anything, whatever's going on up here, like physically, don't worry about it. Just stretch, move your body, make sure you're opening up your chest, and that's going to resolve itself. It's like kind of just a body thing, and it doesn't feel like it means anything. Like it's not dire. Okay. I'm bouncing you over to Lynda.
I didn't get anything. When you asked her to open up and ask for permission to come in, I thought, oh, well, that may be what it is, but there's just nothing coming through.
And sometimes that happens. Okay, Nikki, what do you have for Patricia?
Yeah, so I got this vision of this alignment of all of your chakras, that you need to align them all. And physically take a moment, sit down, start at the root chakra, and go from the bottom up to each chakra. And as you do so, consciously put your energy into that chakra, feel into it, even write it down if you have to, of whatever that chakra feels like is what I'm seeing. And then imagine it being activated, like circling. So like the root is turning bright red, and imagine it just like circling and spinning. And it's like, say an affirmation that comes to you, like intuitively comes to you. Write it down again, like if you have to. And then that is activated. Then move up the chakra system until you are done and you have reached the crown and it is aligned. Do this on the full moon. That's this Saturday. That's the pink moon. And this is a really great time to connect with the divine higher power. Full moons are all about that, all about connecting with that. And it's all about healing too. So healing really loves to take place during the full moon. It also increases our intuition and our awareness. So I feel like you doing that practice maybe on the full moon is going to like realign this and connect really well. And it's also a great time to develop your skills. Like there's just something about I'm just seeing like centering and this alignment and something that's happening there. And I just got the hit of like, woo, the full moon. That's a great time. Like that's really good and powerful. So that's what I had come through.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Patricia. Such an honor to be able to tune in. Thank you for showing and opening up to us, and let us know if that resonated. All right, my loves. Do we feel complete?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. If you guys want to learn how to do this stuff, 30dayspsychic.com. The link is in the description of the video. Come join us. 30 days of psychic development, $17. Duh. All right. Love you all. Bye, all.
Bye, everybody.